Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Real Results Show. If you are ready to dig in, drop the word HEAL into the chat, and we are going to send you FDN's 3-step guide to getting real results. I would love to know where you're joining us from today, so you can also drop that in the chat. But welcome to the Real Results Show, where we feature real health coaches and health practitioners getting real results for their clients and for themselves. I am your host and director of course enrollment, Piper Gibson. And with me today, I am very excited to have Tiffany Brown-Bush on the show, and she is going to be talking to us about the 3-legged stool approach to healing. Hi, Tiffany. How are you? Thank you for joining me.
Hey there. I'm doing really well today. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm excited to dig in. You and I have a lot of things in common, so I'm really excited to pick your brain some more. So, Tiffany, tell me when you completed the FDN course.
About 2014. I think towards the end of 2014. Yeah.
Wow. So you've been in FDN for quite some time.
It's been a second now. Yes.
How long did it take you to complete the course?
I was thinking about that. It's so foggy, but I think it was about maybe 3-4 months, somewhere in there. I really drilled in and wanted to get it done. I was so hungry for the information and I wanted to heal myself. So yeah, for me, 3 or 4 months.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What prompted you to become an FDN in the first place?
Yeah, so I started as a fitness trainer. So that was where I was. I was in fitness, and people weren't losing weight, and I was really struggling with that. I was like, why aren't people losing weight? There's more to this. And I was doing nutrition. I had my nutrition program. It was certified and approved through the board of my state. I was doing that. I was doing all the things, and so I went back to school to become a mental health therapist because I realized there was so much going on psychologically with them. So fast forward through all of that, and my clients were still struggling. So I said, surely it's the physiological piece of this now, and I need to dig into what's going on with hormones and digestion. Everyone was bloated. Everyone was tired. Everyone's hormones were a mess. I was tired. I was bloated. Something was wrong with my hormones. And so FDN became kind of that natural place for me to look, and it changed everything for me.
So how have you built your business and your practice? You are definitely a veteran in the FDN territory. So how have you built your own practice?
Yeah, well, as you heard, I had a foundation. I had a really appropriate foundation to kind of build from. I had been a fitness trainer for a very long time. I think maybe 12, 13 years at that time. So I was able to, and my clients, they've all known how I am. They've traveled along with me, every new venture, everything I want to try on. They were willing to go there. So I said, okay, once I got through the program, I started reaching into the people that I'd already known over the years and said, hey, I think I have this next level thing. I think I understand what's going on. I went through the program myself. I'm using all the same labs on myself. Would you be interested in this and going down this road with me? And it just made sense to people. So I emailed my list. I told the clients I was seeing. I jumped on Facebook. I talked everywhere. I was always speaking somewhere. So, and one of the biggest clients I still have to this day, I went in and talked about the HPA axis and presented on hormones. And to this day, that's one of my biggest referrers. Was I went into the office and just did a lunchtime presentation. And it was, it's amazing how much speaking makes a huge difference. So that's how I built it.
Yeah, that really resonates with me because same thing, like I really go out there and do a lot of speaking and get myself out there, and it makes such a huge difference.
It really does. Mm-hmm.
So I would love to know how using lab testing and the FDN approach has really helped you solve your client cases.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Root cause perspective on things. So with me being in mental health, I've integrated all of this into mental health. So that's what it looks like in my practice. So people come to me because they want a natural non-medication route to psychological disorders. Okay, so they'll come to me because of anxiety, but the two areas that I specialize in are ADHD, so anything neurological, and eating disorders. I really love working with bulimics and clients that struggle with some of the binge eating, but a lot more restriction as well, anorexia. So initially, it looked different than what it does now. I almost tell them when they reach out to me, if you are struggling with an eating disorder, if you are restricting or you are purging, I will put money on the fact that you have some sort of gut infection. I will put money on the fact that you have a food sensitivity. And I get chronic cases, people who, have failed treatments and running these labs. It's everyone has H. pylori, everyone has some sort of issue and some sort of infection, and everything's low, and everyone has leaky gut, and you go in and you start to help them to balance things out and find which foods they're now reacting to and pull those foods out. And people who weren't able to get resolution symptom free in 3 months, turning their lives around. It's been unbelievable. And I know it's a weird world to kind of talk about, but in my space of symptoms, I'll get a client who can be purging 14 to 20 times a week down to no symptoms, because we ran the labs, we ran the hair tests, we did all the things, they're balanced. And so it makes the psychological piece of my work so much easier. And, it just changed everything.
That is so cool. Everybody kind of has their own niche, their own little specialty, but that is really cool. And now those success stories are super amazing. So how has the FDN community really supported you in your business and your health endeavors?
Yeah, just being in the group and being able to listen to people and see what they're doing. And if I'm interested in like a new supplement or something, or just want to see how other people are looking at some of the labs, being able to hop onto the group and just see what other people are saying and having access to that community. The additional trainings, the advanced trainings, I've done multiple advanced trainings that are on the site. That's been helpful, just being able to kind of stay tethered to the community. And that I've done other trainings. I'm a training junkie. So I've done a lot of different things. Right. I think we kind of all are. But this is the most accessible community. At any point, I can just jump right in and ask some questions and get some guidance, see what other people did with their GI map. The Dutch test rocked my world, right? Just trying to get my head wrapped around that, coming off of, and being able to jump into the group and have access to like what other people were saying and their perspectives of it, because that was a little bit different than what I was taught in 2014, about hormones and making sense of that. And so that constant education and access has been tremendous. I really appreciated that.
Awesome. Everybody, if you are just joining us, I have Tiffany Brown-Bush with me today, and we're talking about the 3-legged stool approach to health. If you are just joining us, drop the word HEAL into the chat, and we are going to send you our 3-step guide. But I would love to dig in and know how you work. Are you part-time, full-time, in-person, virtual?
Yeah, I am very, very full-time.
And then some?
And then some. I'm too full time. And with COVID, I backed off and was doing a lot of work virtually. And this is, the beautiful thing about the labs is you can do everything virtually, and people love that, and it's a lot of papers to generate. So it makes sense to do things virtually. But because of the 3-leg stool and the way that I approach things, even during COVID, because I was considered a frontliner as a mental health therapist, I did see some of my clients in person, masks and so forth. And now that, as soon as my state opened up, they were like, can you please come in? Can you please come in? Are you going to be in to do some of the things that I do from a brain balancing perspective? So very full time. And part of my practice is virtual, part of it's in person.
Let's talk a little bit about the 3-legged approach. Tell us what that is. What is that about?
Yeah. So, as I said, I started with being in fitness, right? And I realized very quickly I needed more. And so I went and became a mental health therapist, and I learned about eating disorders, and that's what I was passionate about. There was a lot of binge eating in my fitness practice, right? So what I realized once I got into mental health is that no one knew anything about any of this stuff. They didn't understand that there's this medicine model, right? So the medication model with mental health. So it's talk therapy and there's medication, but there's not root cause level healing. So people didn't understand that food sensitivities and gut infections and not getting enough sleep and not getting enough sunshine and not moving and all these things, were impacting our clients at the level that they were. So we had this one leg, we had the psychological leg that we were taught, and then that was it. And very quickly, like I said, with the clients with me treating eating disorders, you get taught in school and in interning that the patient is wrong, that the disordered behavior that they have with food is all psychological. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I interned at the Renfrew Center. I trained at one of the best eating disorder clinics nationally, period. And all foods fit. All foods fit. Doesn't matter what it is. So it could be gluten, it could be, soy, everything has to fit into the diet. And you don't honor the client's perspective that food doesn't work for them, or when they eat they feel really gross or heavy, and yeah. And so what I realized is if you move in and you have that physiological leg, which FDN has provided and a lot of my natural medicine training has provided, you start to honor that psychological leg where the client has wisdom about their body. They just don't know what it is. They don't know how to tell you it. So it shows up as anxiety or restriction or purging and all these things because there's something happening. You got this infected vagus nerve, right? There's something happening, but they don't know what it is. And so the two legs, the physiology, that's the natural health, the functional medicine, and then the psychology were where I found myself for a long time. Then I realized that a lot of my bulimics were undiagnosed ADHDers, right? So, and I've spoken about this a couple of times. Because I trained under Dr. Amen, I certified with his program, and he has a brain systems approach. Mm-hmm. Never learned about brain systems becoming a therapist. You don't learn about the brain. You learn about interacting with people and all these great things, but you don't learn brain systems. That opened up my world to the neurological perspective of helping my clients. And most of them, when I went back and I started trying to diagnose them differently, they were ADHDers who were symptomatic with bulimia. Because what you find with ADHDers is they almost always have a compulsive behavior. So it's just a glitchy brain. That's how I teach it to them. Their neurology is a little off. Their front to back brain doesn't talk as well as it's supposed to, and they're looking for that dopamine high. And so bulimia or restriction was just one more way to get that, and so balancing the neurology and the physiology and the psychology was where I started to develop that 3-leg stool. And I'm now training under Dr. Melillo's group, who he does brain balancing. He's a functional neurologist. It's just taken it even deeper. And I found that's the way to get people real healing, is to look at those 3 legs. And so that's kind of where it came from, just in the trenches.
Wow, that's really awesome. Very eye-opening. I would love to know how people can get in touch with you. What is your website, social media handles? How can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm at docbrownbush.com. So www.docbrownbush.com. And you just put my name in, Tiffany Brown-Bush, on Facebook. I'm at Doc Brown-Bush on Instagram. So it's pretty consistent across the board. And yeah.
Do you have a number one tip, tool, resource, a piece of info that you've learned from FDN that really has made all the difference in your personal health or just as a health professional?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The idea that I needed to understand the impact that stress was having on the whole system. Mm-hmm. That was really the focus when I first joined FDN, became certified, was the impact that the stress was having on the hormones and gut function and just the whole system. And people weren't talking about mind body quite in the same way in all circles that they are now. You know, they weren't, people didn't understand, like the polyvagal approach to things. You know, I didn't know about neonatal, and, you know, because I do a lot of mycotoxin work with people, and, you know, I've trained in, environmental illness and those sorts of things. FDN is where I got that foundation for understanding that the stress will impact everything and will start to kind of affect all systems. And I've kept that in mind for myself and my own leaky gut healing journey and that of my clients. That was my biggest takeaway, I think.
Do you have a piece of advice you'd like to share with other health coaches and professionals who might be watching us right now?
Yeah, I think we all, if we just kind of tune into what our clients are trying to tell us, and then also try to think big picture, you know, try to holistically look at things. We all have a kind of a rhythm we're supposed to follow. All of us are doing something very different. There's space for all of us here because we all have such different interests. And I think listening to what they're telling you, and realizing that you don't always know everything and that you're being taught just as much as they are, and being willing to have that synergy. I think with that connection with people, you can grow everything just exponentially, but you can also increase the level of healing with people as well. And when you listen to them and you take them seriously, they trust you unbelievably. And that relationship transforms not only them, but you.
Absolutely, because I think so many people have tried other approaches, but when they get to you, they want somebody who will listen because so many of them feel like they have not been listened to. So, yes, that is an absolutely fantastic piece of advice.
Oh, yeah, thank you. And you're absolutely right. That's exactly how they feel.
It is. I mean, really, it is. What about people who are out there who are watching who really might be struggling to get their own results with their own health? Is there anything you'd like to share with them?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Look at the basics. You know, we have the dress approach in FDN, and it's, really making sure. I think with us, sometimes what can happen is we can get a little bit into the labs, and we want to, you know, there's a new potion and there's a supplement and there's a, I trained one of the biggest, if I can share this, I got the opportunity to be accepted into ICI last year, which was a huge deal for me from an environmental illness perspective. And Annie Hopper was there, and Neil Nathan was on stage, and he was talking about DNRS and just balancing the system, the nervous system, right? And I came away from that, and that's when I got into QNRT, which I actually was encouraged to do in our group, in the FDN group, by somebody else who was like, yes, it's going to take everything we're doing to the next level. I've loved how it's worked with the clients. And all it is stress response, and get sleep and take care of yourself. You know, I had to go all the way to Arizona to go to ICI and listen to everyone talk. And it was about mindfulness and getting back into your body and doing the basic things, you know, turn off all the devices, don't stay up late doing things. And I think for us as coaches and in this wellness field, do the basics. I think we can lose track of some of the foundational things when it comes to our own self-care.
For sure. Tell everybody what ICI stands for.
International Society of Environmentally Acquired Illness. That's what it stands for. Yeah. So, and they really lean into mycotoxin illness. I have a lot of clients that I work with, you know, with mold illness. It affects things neurologically, Lyme disease, environmental toxins. So I run a lot of labs looking at all these things. And when you talk about root cause level and mitochondrial performance, that organization's really helped me to understand what in the heck I was doing, and gave me access to some really incredible people. And a lot of it has to do with some of the training we were talking about. That was the deciding factor, just what I was able to put together. And when I appealed to be in that organization, and being an FDN and a naturopath, really, that was it.
That's really incredible. Thank you so much again, Tiffany, for being on the show and sharing your insights on how to get really long-term sustainable health results for your clients and, of course, for yourself, because we are all working on ourselves. Tell us one more time how the audience can get in touch with you.
Yeah, just go to docbrownbush.com or look me up on Instagram, Doc Brown-Bush. I'm there as well. On Facebook, I am Tiffany Brown-Bush. And just send an email, and I have a team, somebody will reach out to you and get you connected.
Fantastic. For those of you that are ready to become a true health detective yourself, and so that you can help others on a deeper level, you can schedule a call with one of the FDN course counselors. That's myself, Jess, or Kelly at functionaldiagnosticnutrition.com/counselor. And we would love to talk to you about how you can become your own health detective. So thank you again, Tiffany. That was really great. I was awesome having you on.
My pleasure.
And thank you guys for watching. I'll be back next week, same time, same place, new guest. But thank you again, Tiffany. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to drop the word HEAL into the chat for your 3-step guide, and we will see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.